Okay, so now it's 10, so let's start our online meetup session. This is the 5th online meetup session between CST, College of Science and Technology, Bhutan, and FabLabs around Japan. Thank you very much for joining today. And today's topic is that we have invited the FabLabs in Japan that are owned and run by individuals. So we would like to hear from their experiences and their emphasis on the making of the digital manufacturing, digital making. So I would pass my mic to Takemura-san. So please, Takemura-san.
Hi, thank you for introduction of today's schedules, and good afternoon, Bhutan, and good evening, Japan. And thank you for joining this 5th online event. Today, we invited 2 wonderful guests from Japan. The first guest is Mr. Jinnouchi, the director of FabLab Saga. FabLab Saga is established as an independent FabLab without any support from local government. And the second guest is Mr. Toyozumi and Mr. Steven, the director of FabLab Oita. They started as a FabLab using budget from local government. But after contract has expired, they decided to continue the FabLab as an independent FabLab. So today's topic, independent FabLab or individual FabLab, sometimes Ego Lab, has not big facility, but has a lot of connection and support from local people. I have most interest and possibility in independent FabLab. That's why we focused on them today. We can learn how to survive FabLab without government support or big budget from them. After 30 minutes talk from both of guests, I prepared 20 minutes discussion time. If you have any questions, type them into Zoom chat box. Then let's start from Jinnouchi. Jinnouchi-san, よろしくお願いします。
Thank you, Takemura-san. Is my voice okay?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. And now I'll share my presentation. Okay, let's start my presentation. The title, Introducing FabLab Saga as an example of a privately run lab. My agenda is what is FabLab Saga and self-introduction, and founding background and motivation, and my local town and FabLab Saga, our projects, and the last is future of FabLab Saga. Well, what is FabLab Saga? FabLab Saga is located on the Kyushu Island. And the right picture is Saga City, Saga City photos. We founded FabLab Saga on 2054 in July. This is the facade of FabLab Saga. My labo or building is over 17 years old. Wooden and double decker. The first floor have about 40 meters. And second floor, 31 meter square. Second floor, I'm using as a warehouse. The first floor is lab space. This is entrance view. And this is my laser cutter. And this is the other side of lab. And this is a center table and bookshelves. And this is our digital fabrication machines. My main machine is laser cutter and three 3D printers and paper cutter and CNC milling machine and 3D scanner and sewing machine. These are standard FabLab machines. Now, self-introduction. My name is Kazuhiro Jinnouchi. I'm from Saga City. My career is programmer and system engineer and project manager and IT consultant. I'm working over 20 years career on IT industry. I have been mainly in charge of manufacturing industry, and I have developed many business systems for those companies. Now I'm founder of GenTech and Research and FabLab Saga. And my founding background and motivation. First of all, my personal intention and ideas. This is the most big motivation. I like science and high technologies. And also, I had an idea to try. And the other motivation is Japanese economic situation. At that time, the Japanese economic situation is so very low. And I was worried about my future, especially my technical career. The decline of Japanese manufacturing industry. So my job is not so fun. There is two and there's two clocked work, and my company at that time, 55-year-old job title to retirement age system. The employees become 55-year-old. Then they have to retirement from business manager. So I'm afraid that salary reduction and third motivation and Saga city decline and reverse movement. Many Japanese local cities have same problems. Many cities is decline, but in Saga city, in my hometown, and there was a unique movement, and CMA is a mini theater, and very funny movies are there. And YY Container is a small community for mothers and child. And Kotoko 215 is a share space, sharing workspace. I want to make, I want to be one of them. Unique, I want to make a unique place in my hometown. And the fourth motivation is my family situation. At that time, I was just married and had a baby. So it is a last chance to change my job. And this is my motivation. This is also my motivation. And there is big wave in the IT industry, I think. In 1980, PC has developed. And 1995, the internet is rising. And 2010, 3D printer has become popular. And the personal fabrication and FabLab is rising. Big waves coming regularly. And let's get on next wave. So I want to get the next wave. This is the cue of founding my lab. The book Makers. The book published in 2012. The author is former editor-in-chief of the magazine Wired. As digital fabrication equipment becomes more familiar, the number of manufacturing-related entrepreneurs, makers will increase. Report on the spread of manufacturing as a hobby, and also introducing FabLab. And this is the first contact of FabLab, my first contact. And the concept of FabLab is the key solution of my worries. And my worries is about these problems. These problems can be solved by founding FabLab. And five FabLab. First of all, I want to use to make something. And there is no FabLab in Saga yet, only in Oita in Kyushu. And I want to help the movement of regeneration in the town of Saga. And not only events and subsidies, but also companies are needed for town regeneration. And FabLab can help companies start new things. In FabLab Saga's management philosophy, my mission is realize your idea. You are the customer of my lab. And vision, as a core of Saga's maker community, it will be a place where many creators gather to collaborate with my many creators, including Saga's traditional industry, and disseminate the value of Saga to the world. And as one of the makers, this is misspelled. I myself announced the original product and was recognized by the world. And this is a relation of GenTech and research and FabLab Saga. And GenTech and research is the mother of my attention. FabLab Saga is the role of R&D department. And I want many division and making product as my makers, or collaborating with traditional industries. So I want to many divisions. Well, the next chapter is my local town and FabLab Saga. Why my local town? My parents' house is near and playground as a child. And once again, the bustle of Ginten Night Market. Ginten Night Market is the festival of the greatest festival of my hometown. But it is now it is very lonely festival. But I want to once again it make the bustle. My town is a place where Saga's creators and entrepreneurs gather. It is near Shiema or Kotoko. The unique places. And my place is surprisingly cheap rent. So, so I'm now here. This is old Saga town and very bustling festival. This is Ginten night market. But the town has become a shuttered shopping district like this picture. And this is a few years before the FabLab opened. But and this is my current Saga town. All around current Saga town picture. It is better than a few years ago. This slide is explaining FabLab Saga and surrounding community. I run my labs by myself, but I communicate with some community in Saga. On creators, makers, such as Shiema or Saga Embedded Software Study Group. On the education, we have communication Saga University with and town planning community in Kotoko or Humanity Saga town planning office. And entrepreneurship support, Saga Prefecture, Saga Lab department, or Saga Biz Cafe is entrepreneurship supporting office. My lab communicate this organization. And now introduce our projects or our customers' project. My first event is FabLab Saga pre-open event and let's make FabLab paint experience workshop. And the next slide is Google Cardboard workshop. And this is my user project. Calligrapher Yamaguchi Hosei-san make iPhone case with his calligraph. And this is his brand logo on leather. And this is Japanese traditional cup and his calligraph. The next project is English word blocks and by English teacher. And next project is Buddha statue engraving. And the same user, cat figures project. And this is Labo project, key holder workshop. And this is also a Labo project. And this is all organized by Takemura-san. Do you remember? 3D printer making workshop. And also, this is my Labo project, Robo Research Club. Every Tuesday, we have a workshop or study meeting. And this is tennis, table tennis machine. I introduce later with videos. This is table tennis machine. Like that. Okay, next slide. And this project is Saga Town Library. Open the shop collection books to the public like a library. And this is a real bookshelf. And this is a virtual bookshelf by Booklog. Like that. This is our bookshelves. And this is my lab team project called Catalog. Robot, his face is made by a smartphone. This is the inside of the robot. This is a contract development and processing. And this is the ground improvement machine model. And this is kindergarten graduation souvenir. And this is also contract development and jigsaw puzzle, and very big jigsaw puzzle. And the last one is factory scientist course. And Takemura-san and Toyozumi-san is also concerned. IoT education course for manufacturing companies. This course use microcomputer board. This is very small. The future of FabLab Saga my final goal is creating a computer with a new architecture. And this is the why I make my own lab. And the robot. This is ultimate dream. Okay, and thank you to hear. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you for introduction of FabLab Saga and a lot of activities in Saga. I could touch to the Jinnouchi-san's passions from his slides. Okay, then next speaker is Mr. Toyozumi from FabLab Oita. Could you start?
Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you now. Could you start?
Okay, share my slides. Can you hear my slide? Can you see my slide?
Yes.
I will now start to introduce my lab of FabLab Oita. I would like to talk with you in a casual manner, so please relax. First of all, the members who are running FabLab Oita are Toyozumi, it's me, and another person is Steven Beltema. And I am a designer, Steven is a programmer. Each of us has our own independent businesses, and FabLab Oita is partly a hobby for both of us. I always stay at lab, and he is, but I can't speak English well, because why he can speak Japanese very well, so I don't need to speak English to communicate to him. Now, FabLab Oita is located in Kyushu, the same area as FabLab Saga. It takes about 2 hours and 30 minutes or to get to Saga by car. And in Kyushu, there are other FabLabs besides Saga and Oita. And we all get together once in a while. About Oita, there are many hot springs everywhere, even in the bus at the home. More amount of hot spring water are produced than any other prefecture in Japan. I often go to the hot spring when I feel tired. There is also a hot spring within walking distance from the FabLab Oita. Next, here is a brief history of our FabLab in such a place. First of all, our FabLab was born as a project of the prefecture. The purpose of the project is as follows: contribute to the development and revitalization of the economy of Oita region, empower and support students and women for employment opportunity startups, empower small and medium-sized enterprises in Oita. And another way, human resource development and manufacturing base. It is not 3D printer or laser cutter or workshops alone. Start new community for local manufacturing. The Oita community Fab study group on Facebook, collaboration with Fab labs in Japan and around the world. And we held about 50 workshops in 1 year and the average number of users per year was over 1,000. It was open only in the afternoon and 3 days a week. In addition, the visit to the school of the prefecture. In that digital manufacturing experience, we have held a course to make the original sticker or 3D printings. There was a day when misunderstanding with the elementary school. So many people comes here. Among them, we found it interesting to let children know the fun of making things or thinking. Know the fun of making things or thinking. Thinking is very fun. We feel. Many public projects in Japan have a 3 years break, and the FabLab Oita project was one of them. There was an option to extend the project, but I often got tired of communicating with the government, so I declared my independence as soon as possible. I said, I'm a father, I want to do things more freely. No one objected, though they were worried about me. Since it was a government project, it was very good that it was free for users to use, means do not need a fee. However, since it was not allowed to be used for business purpose, I think there were very few opportunities to develop ideas. On other hand, sorry. Some users to say as labo to continue even if it is need a fee. Do not lose the community. So Stephen and I decided to rebuild it elsewhere. 2016 on June, all of my friends and users helped us move. In June, when we are finally reborn FabLab Oita, and we held a party. In total, more than 80 friends or users gathered in the lab. This is so hot day. This was so hot day. Here is the current environment of the FabLab Oita. We purchased everything ourselves, so restarting was harder than we thought. We tried to charge a small fee for the use of the facility, but we imagined that we get the fee from the adults and use that to cover the cost of materials for the children. It is now the season for students' graduation projects. And as every year, there are students who work all night. I'm always there for them. And the current location was originally a bar. While retaining that atmosphere, it served as a base for communication, where we could have drinks and also hold study sessions for the IT communication and IT community and other non-manufacturing fields. But this is we took this is COVID-19 became an epidemic. because it is such a place, we also serve as a place to connect people of various genres. Of course, we do businesses with each of them on a one-on-one basis, but we also introduce students to the manufacturing community and artists to factories that can process what they want to create. We want to do this. We want to do things that cannot be done in the lab alone, but by connecting with the people around us, we can create something new. So we have communicated to a manufacturing community or design community or art community and person and companies. We connect to all people. We want to connect. I'll show you a few examples. We like playing with kids. Many children are often attracted by the curiosity of 3D printers and laser cutters or another machines. But and few children have something they want to create or to make. Most children who come to FabLab for the first time don't know how to make data, and their parents often don't understand it very well either. The first step is to have them draw an illustration on a piece of paper and then convert it into data by importing it to a PC, then using equipment such as lasers and 3D printers. We emphasize the importance of having them experience the making of things. In addition to creating in the FabLab, I often do workshops around Oita. For this workshop, we have prepared a glasses kit. In most of the workshop I conduct, the finished product is the same as the glasses. But I try to encourage the participants to create their own unique product by painting or decorating them as they wish. It is important to be surprised and amazed by the ideas of the children sitting next to, and I hope that they will not simply copy, but will take the ideas that they think are good and replace them with their own expression. The next topic was co-creation with creators in Oita. The woman may have been introduced to you once, but I will introduce her again, Yoko Sakurai. She is planning to create a company in Germany next year. I and she work together, but she often comes to create her own works. She is a copywriter, and another side, she is an artist. The work in the photo is made by laser cutting outlet that she has lighted, and then wiping them with lacquer before making them into accessories. In Japanese, say fuki urushi. The next man feels that they are playing together rather than doing business together. Minoru Tanaka, he's a graphic designer. But we have created a unit called Cardboard Brothers and are working together. Using cardboard as a material, they hold paper small tournaments and workshops to make baskets. The last guitar is a project that also involves local company. He often comes here to make the body stencils that were needed to make guitars. When he saw the indigo dyed metal invented by a processing company in Oita Prefecture, he decided to use it for guitar pickguard, and we collaborated on a guitar that was entirely indigo dyed. Our laser cutter engraved the indigo dyed metal. The next section is about the production requests, especially for cultural property. Reconstructed model of the Chihenji temple that once existed in a place called Kumamoto Prefecture. Today, only the remains of the pillars exist, and there was a little material left on the building's appearance or structure. Therefore, a history professor created a drawing of the exterior of the buildings, taking into account the conditions at the time. Based on this, I create the 3D models and print it out. Size and print time is 620 hours. But I didn't include the time when the output failed. So I think I actually spent more time on it. From there, I had to polish the surface, paint the base, and color it. And the whole project took about 6 months. It was fun, but quite tired. Next product is bronze mirror. Bronze mirror on display as a designated cultural property of Oita Prefecture. For these years, we are receiving more requests for 3D scanning and 3D modeling creation and make replicas. By making replicas, people can directly touch them, and by publishing the data, data is a 3D, it can be used as teaching materials for local schools. And 3D Scan is my friend's company scanning. Last page, I'll end my introduction of FabLab Oita by introducing the reason why we are running the FabLab and the rules for the two of us. We each have our own jobs, so we run the FabLab as a fun. So we don't have a clear objective. But we just look forward to communicating with the users who visit our lab and meeting new thoughts and ideas. This is our fun. And we have two promises as follows. Number one, do not anything that is not interesting. We don't take on anything that we don't find interesting. Number two, do not sleep at FabLab. No matter how late we work, we must go home. This is all. Thank you for my presentation.
Thank you for introduction of FabLab Oita. Yeah, I agree to enjoying the FabLab managing. It's very important for individual FabLabs. Yes, okay. Then we already have some questions in chat box, but I will pass the mic to Tomoaki Sensei. Could you start the discussion time?
Yes, thank you. Do you guys hear me all right?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. Okay, so let me take up, I think most of the questions from Dr. Cheki is already answered by Jinnouchi-san, but the last one is still standing, as I understand. So to Jinnouchi-san, what are some of the challenges that you face while you operate your FabLab? あと、もし、英語訳が必要だったら、適当に通訳しますので、日本語でのご回答でも大丈夫です。あと、神之内さんは今、ミュートかかってます。
はい。ありがとうございます。Thank you, 渡辺さん。My difficulty is to make money to run my lab. That's a big problem. But the factory scientist work is good. 日本語で言いますね。ファクトリーサイエンティストの、取り組みがですね、非常に安定した収益を、もたらしてくれますので、ファクトリーサイエンティストをやるようになってから少しですね、ラボの運営が楽になりました。
So, Jinnouchi-san told us that since his lab started providing the factory scientist program, it brought relatively steady stream of revenue. So keep earning money for the lab became easier as a result. Okay, so maybe I'll move on to the next question, again from Dr. Cheki. Daisuke-san, what are some of the activities that you provide to school children and the challenges with such arrangements? もし日本語訳した方がよろしければ、質問の日本語訳とかも言ってくださればやります。
はい、質問の意味はわかるんですけど、お伝えするのがちょっと英語難しいので、通訳をお願いできればと思っています。この子どもたちに提供していただくまずは、手を動かすための仕組み、工夫っていうのを準備するようにしています。ただ、やっぱり大きいのはですね、僕が学校に訪問する機会の方が多いので、学生さんは、ラボに自分の足を運ぶというのが距離の問題などもあって、なかなかこう何度も通い続けるっていうところが難しいので、やはりワークショップを一度やって、3D プリンターとかレーザーカッターとか楽しいなっていう感覚はつかめてもらえたとしても、それをじゃあ引き続き自分ももう一度やりたいってなった時に、その場所が近くにないとできないっていうのが一番大きな課題かなというふうに感じています。
So, Daisuke-san told us that the first thing he arranges, he tries to provide some opportunity for children to use their hands, and it's often the case that he visits schools as opposed to school students come to visit the lab. And the major challenge is because of the distance and other issues, even if some students learn how fun it is to use, say, a laser cutter and wants to continue on that kind of activities, it's not necessarily easy for students to keep coming to the lab to continue those activities. That's the major challenge. So did that answer your question, Dr. Torchi?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. So to both the Jinnouchi-san and Daisuke-san now, do you have any suggestion to CST FabLab in place like Bhutan?
はい。それでは僕からいいですか。そうですね。やっぱり単に機材の使い方を教えるだけではなくてですね、その人自身がラボで何かをやりたい、作りたい、そういう意欲を持った方をラボのマネージャーに迎えるのがですね、ラボの運営にとってとってもいいことではないでしょうかと思います。はい。
So Jinnouchi-san's suggestion is that as opposed to hiring someone who would simply teach other people how to use the equipment, it would be better to get someone who really wants to make use of the lab himself to create something himself. That would be a good idea. という感じで、今の訳でよろしかったですか？
はい、その通りです。はい。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
僕からもじゃあ、提案というか、こうなってほしいなということをあれするとですね、ちょっと今の状態がわからないんですけど、ファブラボを利用しているのは、学生なら誰でも OK ということですか
ね。まだラボはこれから立ち上がるところです。
そういうことですね。はい。一つは、学生さん、身近な利用者になり得る人たちが気軽に行けるような空気っていうのが重要かなと思っていて、日本の国内の、大分の大学とかだと学部をまたぐとちょっと行きにくいみたいなことがよく聞かれているので、そのスクールの中にいる人だったら誰でも使えるぞっていうのがまず一つ最初に重要なことかなというふうに思っています。で、その空気を作るためにはやはりディレクターとかファブマスターが先導していくっていうのも必要かとは思うんですけど、その人にたどり着く前に他の学生から存在を広げていける、あそこはすごく良かった、楽しかった、こんなことが解決できたっていうのをですね、学生主導で広げていける仕組み、きっかけを作れると一番良いのかなというふうに思っているので、何かカジュアルに使える仕掛けっていうのがまず大切かなと思っています。
So, Daisuke-san's suggestion, it's also partly a wish, how a FabLab at CST will become, is that, so the immediate user group, which is students, presumably, for them, FabLab will become really place they can go easily, not just physical sense, but also psychologically. They don't have to hesitate. And from Japanese cases that he knows, like from some university in the Oita prefecture, he have heard some people saying when the lab belongs to a different department from the students' department, then there's sometimes a hesitation to go. So preventing that and making the place easy to stop by is a very good idea. And in order to do that, of course, it is important that the lab manager or director plays a role of inviting people and making the place inviting and welcoming. But also, it's important that students talk about the lab to other students, sharing stories like, oh, there I could find some solutions to this kind of problem, or I could do this kind of stuff. So that kind of possibility that students can share those information, that might be a very important thing. 大体そんなところで翻訳に通訳になったでしょうか。
はい、
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Okay, so the next question is, my question goes to Daisuke-san. This is from Yamada-san. When you visit school outreach program with 3D printer, what is the best number of students per 3D printer? 確かに。
日数がまず関係してくるかなと思っています。そのカリキュラムの日数ですね。で、カリキュラムが1週間あるとかだったら、3人で1台あったら、作るものの大きさとかにもよるんですけど、3人に1台ぐらいあったら2日に1回ずつは使えるかなという気がしています。ただもう、1日で終了するときは、人数に対しての2分の1、50% は少なくともないと厳しいかなという気がしています。という回答でよろしいですか？
ちょっと数字をちゃんと思い出せるから、ちょっと今自信がなくなったので、もう一回やってみます。間違ってたらちょっと訂正な。So, when the activity spans a few days, like let's say 3 days, it's okay that, あれ、何人とおっしゃいましたっけ？3日間あれば。
1台。
So maybe for 3 days activity or curriculum, 3 people per 1 3D printer might be okay. But it depends partly on the size of the things that you wanted to print out. And then if there's only 1 day to complete the whole curriculum, then maybe at least you need 1 3D printer for each 2 people. That would be his advice.
あともう一つだけ追加しておくとすると、その、
はい、
アウトプット、出力物がいつまでに必要かっていうこともすごく影響してきます。僕が外に 3D プリンターの講座、ワークショップをしに行くときは、大半は、出力物はもう後日のお渡しとか、後日郵送、もう動いてる様子をまず見てもらうっていうところにこう集中してもらうことが多いかもしれません。
So additional advice or information is that how many 3D printers you need also depends on when do you want to show the product that are printed out. So in his case, he might design a curriculum so that the actual things printed out from the 3D printer will arrive later. So during the activities time, students will see how things go, how printers work, but not necessarily see it finishes the work. That way, I guess things will get less busy, and finishing the printing could take a little more time than otherwise. Okay, so another question comes to me. So Takemura-san asks, I want to ask Watanabe-san, how do you think about possibility of independent FabLab? I hope some of people who agree to FabLab charter will start independent FabLab in Bhutan. Okay, this is a big question that I think about a lot. But it kind of depends on the target or objectives of the FabLab, in my opinion. So if it's focused on some commercial activities, then making it independent makes more sense, in my opinion, because you can deal with commercial customers and commercial projects, and your lab produces commercially usable things, sometimes end product, other times it's jigs or prototypes. Either way, there's a chance that you can charge some fees, or even if you cannot charge fees directly, you can do some arrangements like revenue share or leasing of some of the products that you create. So those things will bring revenues a little more easily than other activities. And other activities include, say, for example, helping local micro enterprises who may need some commercial help, but they don't have deep pockets to pay for the services. Or more importantly, trying to solve some social issues like, say, youth unemployment, or lack of certain types of education, or poverty reduction in certain disadvantaged segment of the population. FabLab could be used for that kind of social objectives, and sometimes it could be combined with commercial entities, but other times it's very difficult to earn money by doing those things. So in that case, it makes more sense for the government or other entities to provide funding. That's my opinion. And then education is kind of, in my opinion, kind of in between. Some independent Fab Labs actually can sustain itself outside of any educational institutions, but just locating nearby, serving multiple departments from multiple universities or other educational institutions, and they can just have some bulk usage agreements. Okay, if any of your department students come, we will help your students this way, or we will give you access, give them access. And then in return, your department will pay us certain amount of money. And if you have multiple such subscriptions, sometimes that's enough to sustain a lab. I have heard of such a case. But on the other hand, education is sometimes a difficult activity because it doesn't result in any short-term visible economic impact. And because of that, some people stop paying for that. Maybe educational institution will pay for it, but others, say local government, they might want to boost education, but keep paying for it may or may not happen. That's what I've heard. Okay, did I answer your question, Takemura-san?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so Koji-san has another question. I have come up with another question to Daisuke-san. When you visit school children, is there any activity to involve teachers beforehand? So before dealing with students, do you do anything with teachers?
まず小学校、中学校にお伺いするきっかけというのが、まず学校の先生がラボに一度事前に来られて、そこで何ができるかとか、実際に先生が体験されたことを、日本の場合だったら、ちょっとした研究の授業みたいな時に、子どもたちに伝えてくれないかということで、訪問することが多いというのがあるので、純粋にこちらから何か一緒にやりましょうよっていう巻き込み方をするというのは、あまり数としてはないんですね。ただ、そうですね、ほとんどがそれが多いかなという気はしますけど、学校を巻き込むというのでいくと、今、大分県内の公立の高校に、やはり同じように新しいこういうメーカースペースを作るっていうプロジェクトがもうすでに進んでいて、実際に機材の配置も、やってるんですけれども、そういうふうに場所を仮オープンでやってるんですけど、そういった時には僕は基本的に、先生たちの時間が空いている時に、この機材はこういう使い方ができますよっていう勉強会みたいなことを、プライベートな時間を使ってやるようにしています。で、そこに参加してくれるっていう先生は、そもそも興味を持ってらっしゃる方かなというふうに思っているので、先ほどの提案と一緒になりますけど、やっぱり一番近くにいる人たちが一番たくさん使わなきゃいけないというふうに思っているので、生徒たちには逆に壊れるぐらい使ってほしいっていうことを伝えてほしいとは言ってるんですけども、そういった形で新しいものに対してちょっとこう恐怖感を覚えなくって使ってみようかなって思えるような感じの紹介の仕方とかっていうのは気をつけています。
So, プライベートの時間で先生たちのだから業務時間外の時間でこういろいろ使い方を教えたりしていらっしゃる。はい、わかりました。
業務時間外だったり、業務内のその空いてるコマの授業の空いてる時間帯とかにちょっと、はい。
納得です。So his answer is number one, when the school activity happens, it's often happens not in, it doesn't start necessarily with Daisuke-san visiting the school and trying to get the school interested in providing some FabLab related activities, but actually some of the teachers first come to him to learn about FabLab, what it can offer, and part of what he learns, the students, the teachers learns, teachers learn. Teachers then think, okay, maybe I wanted to try to provide some of these to my students. Maybe as a part of some special pilot project like classes as opposed to regular classes. And Daisuke-san might also teach teachers how to operate FabLab equipment in teachers' spare time, either their private time or the time they have in between classes. So maybe, once teacher has the first class of the day and the third, but the second segment might be open. So in that case, the teachers can learn from Daisuke-san how to operate, say, this 3D printer or that laser cutter. And Daisuke-san will also try to tell them, Daisuke-san will tell the teachers, in his opinion, students should really feel comfortable or overcome the discomfort they might find from dealing with unfamiliar equipment. So students should have the mindset of it's okay to use it really actively so that they might even break it. That's the kind of mindset that Daisuke-san would encourage students. And that way students would feel less fearful of dealing with the equipment. And that's based on the idea that users closest to the equipment should really make active use of the equipment. こういう感じでよろしかったでしょうか。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. ありがとうございます。山田さん、did that answer your question?
Thank you very much. I fully understood.
Thank you.
Yeah, for your information, I've been currently communicating with one of the schools in Thimphu, and 1 week from now, I'm going to host a teachers training session upon the request from the school. But we always have to think about the next step. That would be the outreach to the students themselves. So that kind of the students 3D printer percentage, and also the message to the students. Don't worry about them breaking the 3D printers. That kind of message is very important, and I would like to take that in my keep that in my mind when I plan the workshop for the students and teachers, and then the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other question? Anyone having any question? Nothing so far.
Yeah, almost done. So let's wrap up. So
Okay.
yeah, thank you for attending, facilitate the discussion time, Watanabe-san. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Then, okay, let's wrap up. And Kogure-san, are you here? Could you
Yes.
introduce about next sessions?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Takemura-san. Okay, so the next time we will have the 6th online meetup, and this will be unfortunately the last scheduled online meetup on the day 27th, at the end of the year, December. Okay, well, and in this last session, we will try to find other facilities than FabLab. Actually, there are many related facilities to FabLabs in Japan. For example, there are some making space that are set up with a cafe, so that the visitors can have a tea and coffee, and at the same time they can make something. Or there are some kind of a special purpose making space. That's not a full feature of FabLab, but they are focused on some special target making. So we will try to pick up the best candidate for those FabLab related facilities in Japan. Unfortunately, we are sorry, but we have not determined those candidates will not, it's not determined yet, but we will announce later together with the invitation to the last one. So we hope that everybody will be joining our the last online meetup on the 27th of December. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for joining today for the 5th online meetup, and we will meet you again in next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Daisuke-san,
Dachi and Jinnouchi.
Daisuke-san.
Thank you.
Thank
you, sir.
You
Thank
have
you.
a nice
See you next
Thank you,
time.
everyone.